Okay, my name is James Hawkins. I am 22 years old, and as you can see, I am a white male, and I'm a frequent user of the website Reddit.com.
Yeah, just go.
Okay, I am from California, and surprisingly, I think you said you are too.
Yes.
Um, Northern California. I went to school at Berkeley. I got my bachelor's in economics 2 years ago, and now I currently work at an Apple store in the San Francisco area.
So, if you could tell me what Reddit is to you, or like explain Reddit to the class. They're kind of familiar, but just to get your perspective, and then also um, why you use Reddit. So, in what capacity you use Reddit.
Okay. Um, Reddit is a kind of content aggregation website. So people, it's called upvoting and downvoting, but people kind of decide and vote on content and articles and links and stuff that they like, and so the best stuff kind of bubbles to the top. So I could spend hours and hours and hours and hours because they have so many people on the site that super interesting stuff comes up every time or all day every day, and I just love it. I love it for the techie kind of stuff,
Okay.
but it's just a lot of fun. Um, I'm kind of a techie. I've always have been, so that's just kind of what I use it for, is to just kind of get news, content, stuff like that, keep up to date.
And it seems like you're really involved like in technology because you work for Apple and like all of your, or not all of them, but many of your subreddits are technology based. So, um, why choose Reddit over, maybe like Twitter or
It's the one thing. It's kind of what I went back earlier, is the community aspect, because it's just really neat because Reddit is getting super popular. I think something I read recently said they have over 1 billion page views a month now, which is astounding. It's ridiculous. So you can imagine how many people are there, how many people are interacting with one another. So it's kind of, that brings you back multiple times. You always want to come back to uh, talking to people or opening up that dialogue.
do you think that there are certain topics that aren't as openly discussed in in Reddit or just within online space?
Um, I would say that the average Reddit user is probably very much like this right here,
Hmm.
a young white male, um,
Why do you
and
think that?
because from reading the community and everything like that, that's what it seems like, and I've kind of gotten that impression, and at least in I mean, maybe the areas that I'm looking in are probably appeal more to me and at least young males.
Mhm.
Um, so that's just kind of the perception that I've gotten looking, after my 2 years on Reddit. Um, so in terms of stuff that's spoken about, that kind of thing, in the communities that I visit, I would say that probably gender and race are two things that are spoken about kind of in passing, but they're never actually discussed, really.
Okay.
Um,
And do you
yeah.
think that is true of the real world? Like, do you think discussions of race and gender are talked about more or less openly than online?
Online, I would say that people can give their brutal, honest opinions, only because there's that level of anonymity.
Okay.
But the discussions don't go as deep, because I feel like people are just out there to put their opinions out, and that's it. They're not that's not up for discussion as far as you're concerned when you're completely anonymous, I feel.
Okay.
Whereas in real life, it's something that you can have a more open dialogue about. But I feel like people are more trying to be politically correct
Okay.
when they're talking face to face. There's, there's 100% repercussion to what you say face to face. it can be directly linked back to you, and you're then there talking to somebody about this. And if they disagree with you, then you're standing right there face to face with that person.
Okay.
Whereas online, if someone disagrees with you or something like that, you can just leave. You're done. You don't have to be there anymore. You can just close the window, and that's that for that conversation.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are more likely to say what they think you want them to hear face to face, whereas online you can be more honest, but there's less of that discussion going on because, if one person disagrees, you don't have to continue the conversation. They just leave or they just stop responding.
Okay. And do you think is this good or bad, or is it just a thing of life that should be accepted? Or
I think that it's counterproductive in a way.
okay.
You would want face to face interviews, face to face discussions to be more open. But at the same time, if people were brutally honest face to face, maybe not. Maybe that's not the best thing in some cases, only because if some people would really, really butt heads if they were brutally honest.
Yeah.
Um,
So there could be like
but
an element of danger involved.
yeah, I suppose, or at least just people who thought that they got along or something like that. If they were brutally honest with one another, they might, it might not be that case or something like that. And I don't want to promote fake relationships in a way,
Yeah.
but at the same time, political correctness has kind of come out as it is in a way, just so that people can be a little more. You can have more open relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard. I don't know what I'm really saying.
That's fine. Like anything that you wish that online could provide to like better suit what you are looking for, I guess.
Personally, like I said, I'm very transparent with my kind of online identity, and I like the idea of that transparency. Only because I think that that's kind of the way that things are leading, and I know that people have privacy issues with people being able to see all of their information all the time, that kind of thing. But at least my opinion is that I feel like the world's going that way anyway, and I'm very open. And as long as you're kind of forced to behave in a way if you are, and that's kind of what I kind of like. I like the idea of behaving because you know that. God, this starts to sound like Big Brother. So somebody's watching you. But I like the idea that people are good people because there are consequences, and if you are anonymous or you're hidden behind a wall or something like that, you're less likely to think of those consequences. So my opinion is probably a opinion that is less. It's held by fewer people. I like the open transparency, and so I kind of like the idea of the internet being more transparent and being able to see and know who people are. But at the same time, being a techie, I like the idea of being able to be anonymous online. But I do wish that there was a little more transparency.
Well, I want to thank you so much for helping me with my project. You're great.
Of course.
And yeah, and thanks so much. And I won't see you on Reddit, but I hope you enjoy your time.
All right. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Oh.